Press conference tonight at Saint Francis Xavier Cathedral, marking the first step towards sainthood for Adele Brice. Bishop David Ricken formally opening the cause for her canonization, the official admission of a dead person into sainthood. The church will now conduct an investigation into her life and virtues. Brice was a Belgian immigrant who reported seeing visions of the Virgin Mary in 1859. She later dedicated her life to teaching in Northeast Wisconsin.